Security VIP is the official podcast of the security industry, from manufacturers to end users and everything in between. Security VIP is your home for nothing but the truth.
Think you know me?
You're listening to the Security VIP Podcast, hosted by Taylor May, the official podcast of the security industry and home of nothing but the truth.
What's going on, Security VIP? Taylor May here, owner and host of the Security VIP Podcast. You know what's funny? I laughed when I saw this. If you guys go back a month ago, I posted an episode regarding Axis Communications' mandate for their employees in North America to be vaccinated. They weren't vaccinated. They had pretty much three options, right? They had to get vaccinated, they had to show a medical exemption, or they had to resign. I posted a video about that. Go check out that episode. I'll put a little link in this post. But what's funny about this is just last week, Hanovich of IPVM posted an article about Axis's kickoff, their annual kickoff. And if you haven't checked out that article that Hanovich has posted yet, I encourage you guys to go read it. If you guys are a subscriber of IPVM, I'm going to read a quick snippet of the article. I'm not going to read all of it because I think it's important for you guys to check this out yourself. But essentially, the headline says, Axis kickoff required vaccination, mass COVID-19 infections. Last week, Axis had its annual kickoff in person, bringing together hundreds of people, including Axis and its partners. Over the last 2 years, many of these events have been postponed or canceled COVID-19. Axis emphasized that all employees were vaccinated and that a number of people tested positive. That's all I'm going to read. I'm quoting IPVM, the little snippet off their article. Go check it out. You know what's funny about this is karma always has its day. I tell you what, karma always has its day. Whether you like it or not, it just defeats. It kind of just brings to light everything that we talk about here in the industry. You know, just I find it really funny, extremely funny that a camera company required all their employees to be vaccinated in North America, or their field team or the traveling team, whatever you want to call it, sales guys, engineers, marketing, whatever, business development. They had to be vaccinated, and so they all go to this kickoff, right? Axis has their annual kickoff. They go to this kickoff a couple weeks ago. They come back for the kickoff, and 10 plus individuals tested positive for COVID-19. Maybe it was more than that. And there's based on this article I read off IPVM, Hanovich said there's hundreds of people at this event, so it could be 200, could be 300, etc. But again, you had more than 10 people that we know of. There's probably more than that we know of that tested positive. And everyone that was at that event was vaccinated. And just reading some of these comments right now is pretty hilarious on IPVM with all these, people that were pro-vaccine, and they're pretty quiet right now. But it gets back to my point earlier, guys. If you guys watched that early episode of what I told you about, I had employees come to me of Axis that have been there forever, and they said, Taylor, this is unbelievable. And when this happened, just this last week, I texted those individuals again. I said, guys, did you see this? Let's talk about it. And, a lot of them told me karma's a bitch. A lot of them said this is hilarious. And writing's on the wall. That's pretty much what they told me. And it goes back to what I said earlier, guys, like, stop putting political decisions into business decisions. It's a personal choice. Let people decide whether or not they want to be vaccinated. You're mandating something that is a personal choice for an individual. And I just find it pretty hilarious that this happened. Not only that, guys, but we talk about the supply chain going on, and it seems that Axis has the biggest issue right now with supply chain, with just getting inventory, man, and fulfilling purchase orders. On the counterintuitive of that, their competition, like Huawei, Bosch, and Panasonic, Vigilon, yes, they're having supply chain issues, but it's not to the extent that Axis is having it right now. And that's really surprising to see that. So not only has supply chain been a big curve, or excuse me, not only has the mandate issue been a huge blow up in Axis's face, but the supply chain has been even more serious now with Axis because they're not able to fill orders. So is Axis failing right now? Are they failing? And Hanwha and Bosch and Vigilon and Pelco and Panasonic, are those guys thriving? Is this an opportunity for those guys to step up and kind of take over some market share? Right now, it looks like that, just based on some what I'm seeing in the market and what I'm hearing from customers. And don't get me wrong, guys, I love Access to death. I love the product. They make a great product. I've got Access cameras in my own house here in Dallas. But when you flip the script and you start making these policy changes, you start making these mandates, and you can't fulfill orders, and you have all these certain ideas become your new story to tell. Wrong move there, Captain. Wrong move. And this is just I think sales for Access has been pretty stagnant the last 2 years. They haven't really grown or seen a trajectory in growth. And maybe it's got worse too with this COVID mandate too. I mean, I think it has. I mean, I've talked to former employees of Access and said, "Hey, man, karma's a bitch. Writing was on the wall. That's why I left. Culture changed, big time culture shock when they put that mandate in there. And now the competition, at least what I see, is thriving here in the industry. So Access, man, you got to recover, dude. You guys got to recover, man. I don't know how you guys are gonna continue this momentum. And I think what's really surprising right now, me being a big Access fan, Access, customer, I look at someone like Motorola. Access is owned by Canon. Canon owns Milestone, Hercules, Briefcam, and Access, etc. And you got someone like Motorola on the opposite side of the fence, and they are just in a big acquisition phase, right? Buying out companies left and right. They just bought Ava. Ava's a incredible platform, open cloud solution. They have OpenPath to their name. They just bought Calypsa as well. That's another acquisition they just made. So it's crazy that you see all these acquisitions and kind of this trajectory of growth with Motorola right now. And then Canon has kind of been quiet to an extent. Kind of been quiet and kind of stagnant. And it's kind of hurting some of their brand recognition. And all their brands, Access, Milestone, Hercules, Briefcam, they're really quality products. They're all solid. They're all open. They unify that open platform, that open community we always talk about. But some of these changes recently, at least on the Access side of the fence, has caused some disturbance in the market. And is that going to bleed over to Milestone and Hercules? Is it going to bleed over to Briefcam? Now, I know Canon doesn't really get involved too much with their brands, but maybe this is something that Canon's going to have to step in a little bit more, because we see Motorola influencing a lot of change and a lot of disruption right now in the industry, buying out all these companies. And if I'm looking just from an outside perspective, an outside lens, if I had no experience in the security industry and I have Canon on my left side, I've got Motorola on my right side, and I'm seeing their brands and their products they own, and I see these recent policy changes and I see these kind of recent traction, I see one company going up and I see one company staying flat or in slightly pivoting down. That's just from an outside lens. That's how I view it. I'd be curious to see what everyone else thinks, but man, does karma have an effect when you put things like that into place? And again, I don't want any hate around anti-vax or pro-vax. I don't really care, guys. You guys get vaccinated if you want to get vaccinated. Don't really care. But I've always said this should be a personal choice, and you should not put this influence or mandate in place to their employees there, because it affects culture. It clearly affected Access culture, and I hope it doesn't bleed over to their brands. But I'm not sure if Hanwha's done this or Bosch has done this, or Vigilon, Motorola have done this. I'm sure they've maybe required some mandates. Maybe they haven't, but not to the extent where it's so like public almost, and where it's really kind of rubbed people the wrong way. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It is crazy, mind blowing. But that's all I got to say, guys. It's a quick episode. I just recently launched my company website. Some of you guys may saw that news on LinkedIn. No longer am I posting episodes on YouTube or Spotify. If you want content, you want to see content, the people I interview, the people I speak with, it's all going to be found on my company website, www.securityvippodcast.com, securityvippodcast.com. There is a subscription-based model now with my podcast. I'm a one-man show. I do all my editing. I do all my content. I do all the production myself. So in order to put on a platform, I'm now charging a monthly and an annually option if you want to be a subscriber of Security VIP. All content, episodes, videos, panel discussions, speaker engagements that can all be found on my website. And there's two costs. The subscription costs $100 a year. Will get you access to all that, or you can pay monthly with $10 a month option. So 2 options. I've had my podcast on for 2 years. I just launched that 2 days ago, or I'm sorry, 2 or 3 days ago. Go check it out. Would encourage all my followers who have been loyal to me to continue to be loyal to me and continue to engage with me and support me would be much appreciated moving forward. But I'm going to continue to bring content, continue to bring quality individuals to the space. And I'm always open to hearing engagement and thoughts. So on my website, if you have an idea for content, you got an idea for a topic, you can submit that to me. I will take it into thought. And who knows, I might even put it into my platform if it's something we need to talk about. This was something we needed to talk about. And since I created that first episode, I wanted to kind of tail in that and kind of add to it with this episode around Axis's mandate. Just one decision has caused a ripple effect. Take notes, industry, something you should not do moving forward. You guys stay safe out there. As always, nothing but the truth here on Security VIP. Cheers.
Better recognize you want to talk that shit. I'm the president.